On this episode of Tough Garage, we modify the plenum, fuel rail and make a throttle body elbow from scratch.
Well, you probably have a rash in there.
What are you talking about?
You said your body and elbow need a scratch, so you probably have a rash.
I give up. Okay, so in the last episode you would have seen the hole I had to make in the battery cover. This was to allow access for the fuel rail and fittings that mount to the intake manifold. I wanted to clean up the factory fuel rail to give it a simple look and allow the use of AM fittings. I removed the return line part of the standard fuel rail and then blocked off those holes that it left behind. I bought some weld-on fittings from Aeroflow to put onto each end of the fuel rail. And this is what it ended up looking like. So here's the finished product. You can see the weld-on fittings there that I've put at each end. There's another one at the other end over there at the far end. Hence you can see now the reason why I needed to cut that hole into the battery cover. I'll sort that out though and I'll make another piece so it does enclose the battery cover again. But at the moment I'll just left it like that until I get the fittings and see exactly what size I need. You can see at the far end here, there's that little hole that I've closed up. So that's all welded up. Once the fuel rail gets coated again and everything, it'll all be smoothed off and look like one piece again. Some of the brackets have been removed as well. So just the mounting points are left, but it looks much cleaner, much neater. So next on the list of things to mod was the intake plenum. The intake plenum had a heap of vacuum ports and all these other ugly little bits and pieces that I ended up removing. I cut those ports off and then out of the alloy that I cut off, I made bungs to put back into the holes and weld back up again. I tapped them in softly with a hammer as I made the bungs tapered. So once they were tapped into place and nice and tight, I then welded over them. This cleaned up the look of the intake plenum quite a lot. I will thread all those vacuum ports back into the plenum but at a much neater location. And here is how it turned out. So here at the front you can see evidence of where I've blocked off one of those ports that used to be there for the vacuum sensors and all that sort of stuff. There was another one on the side here which has been blocked off, welded over and smoothed. But it just changes the whole look of the intake plenum. Just makes it all look like one unison piece and symmetrical at both ends. Much cleaner. Because the intake plenum is now facing the opposite direction, the throttle body actually faces the guard. So I needed to move the throttle body position, and the easiest way to do that is with a throttle body elbow. But nobody makes one of these off the shelf to suit an XF Falcon throttle body. So I bought some 10mm alloy plate and a 63mm alloy elbow from eBay. I cut the alloy plate into the plenum outlet shape and then the alloy elbow to the length that I needed. After drilling the holes into each base plate and then welding the whole lot together, I ended up with my own throttle body elbow. So here's the finished product. You can see the alloy plate at both ends there, at the throttle body end and the plenum end. The holes that I've made, and then there's the alloy elbow in the center, all welded up and then smoothed over so it looks like a cast piece. I'm really happy with it. It turned out quite neat, and as you can see it faces the throttle body forward so that it clears the guard and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it turned out nice. And the other good thing is the end where the throttle body sits is pretty much in line where the turbo outlet will sit, so they'll both be at a similar length in the engine bay, which will look nice and symmetrical. So all these pieces that I'm modifying and fabricating are for mock-up, but what is mock-up? Mate, what are you doing?
I'm mucking up.
Mock up! Mock up, you knucklehead!
Mock-up is when you start piecing together parts as you modify them. You need to do this to make sure the part still fits and works correctly. When mocking up, make sure to fit all the interconnecting and surrounding parts. You need to get a clear picture of how things are looking as you go along. Here is an example of how things could go wrong. Dad made battery cover, all the while forgot where the fuel rail sits. He found out that the fuel rail didn't fit and had to make a hole in the battery cover so that it would fit. So more mock-up makes less work in the end. Isn't that right, Dad?
Yes.
Today on Leo's Life Lessons, too many mods can be bad for you. We all love modifying cars, but too many mods can sometimes be bad for you. You know how it is, you mod one thing, then you have to mod something else related to it. And again and again and again. Before you know it, it's out of control. Try to plan your mods 2 or 3 steps ahead. Don't modify things just for the sake of modifying it. It might end up giving you headaches down the track. Try to buy it first. If you can't find it, then see if it's worth making. If you really want or need it, then go ahead and do that mod. A good mod is one that makes the car look and feel better. It may be different, but can make the car worse to enjoy. That's it for today's video. It's like, goddamn fuck. I think I got him. Triple out.
That's it for this episode. On the next episode, we'll be making the dump pipe.
Please give a like, subscribe, leave a comment, and hit that bell for video notifications.
Hey guys, I hope everybody's enjoying our episodes. We are making a few more under construction episodes that are coming up, along with a feature ride episode.
And also we have a Mark II Escort in the build.
So you'll see them coming up real soon. Thanks guys. On this episode of Tough Garage, we modify the plenum, fuel rail and make a throttle body elbow from scratch.
Well, you probably have a rash then, Dad.
What are you on about?
Well, you said that your body and elbow you need a scratch, so there's something about this episode that I can't speak to.
On this episode of Tough Garage, we modify the plenum, fuel rail and make a throttle body elbow from scratch.
Well, you probably have a rash then, Dad.
What are you talking about?
You said that your throttle... I was going to say throttle. The throttle and elbow.
I wanted to clean up the factory fuel rail to give it a simple look and also allow the... I wanted to clean up the factory fuel rail to give it a simple look and also...
Alright, we're done here. You need to do this to make sure that the part's still... Okay? Forgot the line. You know how it goes. You need to mod one thing. No, sorry. You know how it goes. You do one mod, then you have to mod something else. Not one that's just nut.
Not just one.
Not one that's just nut. Just don't do it.
Just nut.
No, just don't even do it.
That's
just
it.
don't
Just
even do it.
nah.
Not ones that just... No one... Why do I...
No one. Not even a line.